Morning all. Alright, so starting things off with the news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet for your Wednesday, August the 30th. Alright, so Sheldon Keefe is going to be sticking around in Toronto. Signs a 2-year extension. So when a coach is in the final year of their contract, there's always that conversation about why they haven't been signed to an extension. Does the team not have faith in him? Does he not have faith in the team? Well, the conversation with Keefe has been kind of put to rest, and I say kind of because we know that if Toronto struggles at points this year, it won't stop speculation about whether or not his job is potentially on the line, because that's how things work. But the team, giving him a 2-year extension, we won't hear about a lame duck coach for this year. And hopefully the Leafs get off to a good start and Keefe's job is completely and totally safe. Calgary, Andrew Mangiapane, stating that after shoulder surgery, he feels he's 100%. So that's good news for Calgary, who, of course, lose some goal scoring with Toffoli being traded. There's all the other uncertainty out there. Mangiapane's a player who's shown he can score 30 goals in a season. He can be an offensive leader. He may very well be called upon for that role with the Calgary Flames this year. A little bit more than usual, maybe being looked at as a prime scorer. But at any rate, him being 100% is good news for Flames fans. Pittsburgh, busy with the professional tryouts this morning, signing Austin Wagner, Libor Hayek, and Mark Pysyk. So it's an interesting trio here. Austin Wagner, a depth forward. Libor Hayek, a depth defenseman, and I'm sure there's Ranger fans that are probably going to have a comment or two about that. Mark Pysyk can play on the blue line. He can also play up front. He's purely depth as well, but the fact he plays on the blue line and he can play a fourth line role if need be, might very well help earn him a job with a Pittsburgh team that doesn't have a ton of money in cap space. So this is the route you go in order to add to your depth, right? So we'll see if any of them end up earning themselves jobs from these professional tryout contracts. Carolina, busy with professional tryouts as well. They've given one to Brendan Perlini as well as Nick Shore. So those are a couple of blasts from the past for people. And we'll see whether either of those players earn themselves a job with the Carolina Hurricanes. There's a very good likelihood that some of these players just end up signing AHL contracts. Of course, there's others, too, that won't get signed to contracts coming out of a PTO and end up signing in Europe. That's definitely an option as well. So we'll see how many end up making their team. I'm going to guess that probably around the NHL we'll probably see like 4. I'll say 4 guys who get professional tryouts end up getting a job. In Dallas's case, it could be Jordy Benn, brother of Jamie Benn. They've played together before. Jordy Benn's decent depth on the blue line. Again, that's just purely a depth role for him at this stage. And I'm kind of rooting that maybe Dallas does pick him up. I do still have my Vancouver Canucks Jordy Benn jersey. I got that on clearance when he left the team. So who knows? Maybe Ben makes his tour and ends up back in Vancouver as well. And suddenly what's old is new again. But at any rate, I wish him the best in his tryouts for the Dallas Stars. Jake DeBrusk. So he's entering the final year of his contract. Looking at the possibility of next summer getting a ton of money because next summer the salary cap's going up. And it's going to be a pretty good free agent crop. But he is saying that he wants to re-sign with the Boston Bruins. He has no interest in going anywhere. So if the Bruins want to make that work, they may very well want to get that signed sooner rather than later because, again, contract values we've seen over this summer have risen, and I think they're only going to get more and more inflated as time goes by, especially if DeBrusk scores at a 30-goal pace. Also, for the Boston Bruins, they will be unveiling their centennial jerseys. So they're going big for the 100th, and honestly, good on them. So they're going to have alternate home and away, and they're going to have an alternate third. They are really going all in on this idea of the centennial, and we'll see what they do. But apparently, I think it's September 16th. They're going to reveal all 3 of those jerseys, and I'm looking forward to that and seeing what the Boston Bruins come up with. They're going to be throwbacks. It sounds like it could just be pure throwbacks. Maybe they were the 80s home and away and have an alternate that's one of their older jerseys, or maybe they mix their styles, reverse retro style, right? Where it's a jersey that's kind of like one they wore before, but not exactly the same. My guess is that's what they're going to go with, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the Bruins come up with. I think it should be fun. And finally, for the Vancouver Canucks, a conversation point with Canuck fans has been the lack of a practice facility. You can see how it holds them back. They don't have a dedicated practice facility. And so it is more and more a topic of conversation, and whether or not the Canucks need to get on, having a building that's a dedicated practice facility for them, because most NHL teams do. And for off-season workouts, that can be key. So Rick Tocchet wanted to have the players show up for August 15th. He was like, mid-August, I want guys there, and I want us to get, an early start on training camp, make sure everybody's good to go. And very few of the players to this date have shown up for this. Apparently, there's 7 players who've arrived thus far to get on the ice and get the workouts going. Tocchet saying that he knows that there's players who are working out at home or working out in other facilities, but stating, yeah, it would be nice to have our own facility. Also, he's talked with Pettersson, Miller, Hughes, and Demko over the summer. It sounds like those are the ones he's talked to the most. He says it's important to stay in contact with players on the team, and it sounds like that's the 4 that is their leadership group. So since Demko wouldn't be eligible to be captain, that means Pettersson, Miller, Hughes would be your trio that are the likeliest to become team captain. With Bo Horvat being traded last year, there is definitely that spot for a team captain. I would think with the extension Miller signed, and if he really and truly is dedicated to spending that entire contract in Vancouver, I would think the captaincy may very well be his, but I wouldn't rule out Hughes or Pettersson, although for Pettersson it might require the extension. When he was asked about the Pettersson extension, he said he's not concerned about it. So that's the same attitude I have as a Canuck fan about it. I'm not worried about it. If he signs, he signs. If he doesn't, great. Whatever, it's fine. It's just that's the nature of hockey these days. But he's a restricted free agent. So at the very least, the worst case scenario I would think would be he'd just sign a bridge deal that gets him to UFA status. But again, that's a long ways off, and I don't think there's any reason to worry about it. So we'll see how things go for the Vancouver Canucks this season. But the one thing, and I'm quoting from Shorzy on this, I think they really need to hate to lose. So it's not just about really wanting to win, it's about hating to lose. And it's one thing from that show that I thought, that's accurate. That you need to have players that hate to lose, that losing just makes them angry. And that's where I come back to JT Miller. Losing makes the guy angry. The guy wears his heart on his sleeve. People get upset because he's angry, but I'd rather have a player that's angry with losing than somebody who smiles in the locker room after a loss and is like, nah, we'll figure it out. We'll be fine. We all get along great. It'll be great. Nah, the coach is fine. Everything's great. And meanwhile, you're like, that was your 7th loss in a row. Why are you still smiling? But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. How many of the PTOs do you think end up making it onto the roster? How many of these guys make it? How many of them don't? Again, my ballpark, I would say 4. But it is that time of year, and I do feel bad for players that are NHL veterans that then have to go through this process where less than the month before work starts, which is the NHL season for them, and they don't know whether or not they have a job yet. So that's got to cause some stress. All the best to them. But let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And this is right where news starts to really pick up because players are showing up. You're going to have guys who show up and they're not in shape. You're going to have guys who show up and nagging injuries over the summer didn't get better or did get better, and that becomes newsworthy. And so, yeah, we're going to be talking a lot more over the next couple of weeks. But let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.